Louise.
Okay. Chair Tosher,
Present.
Commissioner Harmon,
Present.
Commissioner Golden,
Here.
Commissioner Gerber,
Here.
Commissioner Chisholm,
Present.
Commissioner West,
Present.
and Commissioner Zeringer is absent.
Okay, great. Thank you. So next we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. And Smitty, would you
Yes.
like to break the ice by doing the Pledge of Allegiance?
I can.
And if we don't see your head, it's because you took a knee?
Is there a flag or something we're supposed to look at?
No, well, just, there
Oh,
you
there
go.
we go.
Beautiful.
Whoa, everybody just,
And we do the under God part?
what happened?
Do we do the
Where did
whole
we,
thing?
everybody go? Are you there?
We're all here.
Yes, we're all here.
That's our flag. That's
Okay,
nice.
Smitty, hit it.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you. And now is the public comment time. So have we received any emails, Luis?
No public comment.
Anyone wanting to make? All right, so there are no public comments. Then we have consent items. And the only thing that's on the agenda for consent is the June 18th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Christine.
Yes, I have some corrections to the minutes.
Okay.
What I would like to ask, well, it's on page 2 of 5. Actually, it's on page 3 of 5. And there are so many errors in the section L, as in love, that I would ask the commission's approval that I could work with Luis on correcting it, because it will take forever to do it now. It's just wrong. It's just not right, so much of it. So that's section L. It should be accurate because it's a record for matters that went to city council. So we don't want that to be a misrepresentation of what went to city council. For the record, I think it should be accurate. So if it's okay, instead of doing it now, I'd like to work with Luis and then have that part of the minutes brought back, or I don't know how that would work. I don't think I've ever had to do this before.
I think that's fine with me. If everyone's in agreement, just raise your hand for Christine to work on this with Luis. I want to mention that this was not Luis's responsibility.
No, these minutes came
These
from.
minutes didn't come from Luis, so.
And there's also a lot of mistakes under O on page 4 of 5 too, about the Capri Hotel project. And I'd like also to correct that so that it's more than just the spelling of ladders. There's like a whole lot.
Right.
Wrong
I
there.
caught that one.
Yeah, did you catch that one? Yeah. But there's also just misinformation there. It should very clearly state, for example, just give you one example. It should clearly state that the artist withdrew, not because of whatever the word was that was used here, durability, but for the opposite reason, because she felt it wasn't durable. So I just think that should be correct.
Okay. Does anyone else have any modifications to the minutes? Might as well incorporate it now before Luis and Christine do their thing. Okay. No. Okay, moving along to our discussion and action items. I would like to warmly welcome our newest member, Smitty West, and for the first time in quite a while, we have a full house, except for Sam not making it tonight, but yay. Yay. And then Nigel, do you want to, not that we don't already know who Smitty is, and he's got quite the involvement with Ojai and activity around Ojai. Do you want to talk a minute about Smitty?
I certainly can, Smitty, if you'd like to just get off the screen at the moment so you don't hear any of this. As you know, I have a long-standing relationship with Smitty, and he's a mainstay of this town in the arts community. He supports not only music fantastically well, but through his life and the arts, also local high schools, school kids. He mentors a lot of people at the same time, and is an incredibly positive person to have in our community and on your side. And him sitting on this arts commission is just going to bring those talents to the bear. He has a mind like a steel trap, and the thought process to find solutions to problems. In all the years that I've known Smitty, he has displayed an ability to find solutions despite the problems, to overcome hurdles and just view them as obstacles along the way. He's got a great view of how he would like Ojai to move forward, and there's certain things that he would like to do that I'm sure he can inform you of, is how he would like to leave his imprint on this town. And I could not be more thrilled to see him sitting on the other side of the camera. So Smitty, thanks for volunteering. Thanks for putting yourself up and contributing to your community. It's very, very important that people like yourself and everybody else on the committee do their part for making this city what we want it to be, instead of complaining about what it actually is. So once again, thanks very much, Smitty. You're a very welcome addition to this, the Arts Commission.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing I would like to just briefly have everyone review their committee assignments. And I'm wondering, Smitty, you got this in the packet. If you had any questions about your assignments and what your responsibilities would be, there was also attached a description of the various committees.
Yes, I thought. No, thank you for not making me choose. That's something you needed. So,
well, yeah, we've added.
I'm working with everyone on the committee. It sort of gave me. I'm going to have a chance to work with. It seems, at least on first blush. So, thank you.
And nothing's set in stone. I mean, we
yeah, I get it.
You readjust the committee assignments.
Yeah.
So that's that. If anyone had any comments.
I do, as a matter of fact. It's
Nigel?
just a quick one. This Public Arts Commission
Right.
that
Right.
Dean holds, as I understood it, when we had a full commission, somebody was going to be assigned there to help Christine along with that. Am I correct so far?
Right.
Yes. All right. So as I
Well, we're just kind of leaving that in abeyance until we have an opportunity to bring in another member that specifically has public art experience.
Okay.
So
right.
would you mind remaining as the
No, and in actual
temporary
fact,
Kappa person?
Yeah, no, that's fine. And as a matter of fact, I've discovered that I quite like that.
Okay.
So I'd be more than happy at this point to just be that person.
May I comment and just say that, Nigel, the times that you have already served on Kappa, I think that your comments have been very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love if you would stay on. You're an alternate, so it'd only be those times when, for some reason, we don't have the three of us who are on the committee.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, if I'm happy to do that, and thank you for those kind words. If I am happy to become a full-time member of that, if we can't find anybody who fits the bill better than me, or if we can't find anybody who works with Christine better than me also. So as you're looking for another member of the committee down the road, then you could take that into consideration, that wouldn't possibly.
Thank you, Nigel.
Filled. So again, I've got no ego tied up in that, but if it works for you guys, let me know. Otherwise, we'll find somebody else to do it.
Excellent. Excellent.
I would, am I muted?
Robin?
No.
Yeah.
It's fine with me if Nigel wants to switch places and I'd be the alternate. I mean, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about public art.
Oh, right. So I didn't see your name on here, Robin.
She's on the Public Art Committee.
Am I the third member? Did I get that wrong?
All right. Okay. So I may inadvertently put my foot in it there and unintentionally. So I'm not advocating for me to be on it. I thought that there was still a space there. So
yeah, I misspoke. Yeah, we had to have you in as an alternate because there was a conflict.
Fine, let's just leave it there then.
With Robin.
I'm happy to serve as an alternate.
Well,
until
there's no conflict. I mean, I'm happy to have him be the regular and not be the alternate.
Well, the alternate would just be in case someone who's normally on Kappa couldn't attend. You know, if one of us were sick or whatever.
It seems to me that we should probably leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And I can step in and learn from the sidelines from Robin and Christine.
Sounds like a plan to me. Is that agreeable, Robin?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. And then the next item is Sammy was going to talk about the website. She's not able to make it, but it's just as well, because what I'd like to do with this, Robin, is that you and Sammy developed a really comprehensive PR plan. And now that we have Smitty and he's on your committee, I'd like the three of you, I'd love to give Smitty the benefit of reviewing that plan. And then, the three of you could polish it or add to it. Maybe Smitty has some other ideas, and then bring that back to
I
the
think
full
that
commission.
makes more sense than doing it in a vacuum.
Right.
Doing a website in a vacuum. I really think that makes more sense.
Right.
Okay.
So get together with Sammy and Smitty and let him review the plan that you've come up with, and you guys hash it out and bring it back.
Okay.
Let me know when you'd like it on the agenda. And then we'll vet it and all of that. And the next item belongs to Nigel. We're going to pick the Lifetime Achievement Award recipient today.
Right.
Maybe if we can.
Well, I don't think we can. I think we're going to have to push this with a hard deadline for next time. The reason for that is, if you recall the last meeting, then we didn't get around to everybody to have a talk about it. I know Sammy was next in line and she was going to have some words to say. And now we have Smitty as well. So I think it would behoove us to put a hard deadline on this of next meeting where that should be discussed. Does anybody disagree with that? I know that we're running well late with this, but it seems to make sense that these people should be allowed to kick in.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is Smitty is on the list. And so either...
Oh, he's got to
Oh, really?
Obviously,
Can't
it's...
remove.
We'll go ahead and make that revision.
Yeah.
He's off.
You can just take him off the list and then it wouldn't be an issue. Or
Yeah,
otherwise, I think Smitty, you have to recuse yourself or something.
Yeah, right.
I don't think
that's fair, Nigel. That's fair to push this to.
Can I say something?
Sure. Yes, Linda.
Before we table it, when we did Lifetime Achievement before, everybody around came to the meeting with 3 choices. And then we all said our 3 choices, and then we saw if there were any names that were in common. And then that's how we worked before. We haven't done that this time. Did we want to become ready with 3 of the names from this list?
I think the way,
or our own name
before, but I do know that was the way it was done before, but just haven't been there, so I can't stipulate to it particularly. But for myself, I can see, especially on Zoom, if we're together in a place, I can see that would work quite well. On Zoom, I can see that it would be challenging to if everybody brings 3 different names, just to collate the names in general. So my thought, and obviously it's up to discussion, is as I stipulated to last time, is I think we just come with a person, just one person, and then that's your choice, and then we'll figure it out from there. And it may be that 2 people or 3 people have the same choice, in which case you get to the same point.
So we're not coming with 3, we're coming with 1.
Well, that, or we could have, or we can have Luis get a chalkboard and do it the way we've always done it on Zoom. Why can't you do it that way? You don't want to, I mean, I'm just afraid that if we all come with a bunch of different names, we're not going to agree quickly. And I would just like it if we all had 3 names in mind that we were okay with. I mean, and I'm flexible anyway.
Linda?
Christine?
I'm pretty,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. You know, it's always been that we've come with 2 or 3 names. But I really think last time when Michael, we all came with 1 name last time.
But I think we had already winnowed it down to that. As I recall, it's been so long now.
I don't know. I just wanted to mention it because that's the way we've done it in the past. So it doesn't matter, whatever way you want to do it, Nigel, but we haven't met as a committee. So I'm on your committee. So I just wanted to say that, but I'm okay with whatever way you want to do it. So
if you got whittled down to 3 before, I think my thought is that you can whittle it down to the one that you like best.
Well, I only have 1, so I'm going to only bring 1.
Well, not anymore, because you were going to vote for Smitty, if you remember.
Was I?
Robin, you had a question?
I think
comment?
That is the answer, is that we don't have to be so prescriptive. I mean, if you have 1, you have 1. If you have more than 1, then you come with more than 1, I think.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. So let's just do that. Come with a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3. How about that?
Nigel, do you want to let Sammy know?
Yeah, I will. I'll send an email to Louis and he can kick it out to the rest of you.
Okay,
right, so let's come with a minimum 1 and maximum 3. Louis, if you can see your way clear to having a whiteboard behind you at the next meeting.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
And then we can actually enable Zoom to give thumbs up and thumbs down on people. As we go through it, and then Louis can stand at the chalkboard and just knock them off one by one until we come to a winner. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Oh, Nigel, Luis and I had an idea. I saw the award that was given to Gay Jones, and it's something that they purchase at this trophy place or whatever. And it was very pretty. It was like an art glass piece or whatever. But then we were talking, and I thought, so that everyone doesn't get the same award, maybe we could, we have money left for this year's Lifetime Achievement Award. We could hire one of our artists to create something, to create the award, and then it would be on a base with the typical bronze plaque or whatever. And that way it could be customized to whoever the recipient was, and something very unique and special. And we're supporting a local artist, giving them the money rather than the award, the trophy shop.
Okay, I love that idea. The cost is a concern to me there. Do we know, we normally spend what, $200 on a plaque?
Yeah, but we have in the budget, we have, I think, how much do we have, Louis? 600 left?
About so.
Yeah. And that's the only thing we would be using the money for. So we have $600 left. Okay, Christine, you've been waving like mad. Christine.
Well, I want to put a word in for consistency. I actually think we should think about whether or not there is value in this is the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's this is what it looks like. And it was designed originally.
Like the Oscar.
Everyone gets the same thing, and someone doesn't go, well, I got this little funny looking thing, and I got, you know what I mean? I just think we should really think before we change that.
Well, I don't know the history of it. Was that design commissioned by the artist, or is that just something
remember? Linda might remember.
Linda.
The city came up with that. I don't know how many years ago. It had been just a plaque before that, I think. And then they did the crystal thing when, I don't know, I think Amber was in there when they did that. But I agree with Christine. I think it should be a simple thing. It's the idea of the award and that they have that after their name. I think this is just not,
okay.
I totally agree with Christine.
Yeah,
I
good
think there
point.
should be continuity.
Like keeping it like the Oscar. It's like a brand.
When we're looking, when we're looking at a time where we don't have a huge budget.
It's just that my understanding was, and we could research it, if that was just like a stock item off the shelf at the trophy place. You know what I mean? And would your opinion changed if we had an artist design something new that would be our thing, but it would be designed by an Ojai artist, and everyone would receive the same thing?
I think that if you go that route, That should be something that committee looks into and then comes back to the rest of us for a discussion about.
Okay, great.
What would
All
it
right.
cost? What would it look like?
Yeah,
What first would do it?
Okay.
If it's a certain amount of money, it would have to go to bidding. Luis would know what the cutoff is on that, but I think you have to be very careful that you just don't pick some artist out there.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of work, but if the committee wants to do it, I'd love to see what they come up with.
Okay, Nigel, this is your committee. What do you say?
Yeah. Everybody's got super valid points. It does seem to me that it would be nice to commission something. I am worried about the cost of that, but to Linda's point, to Christine's point, I think consistency is really important too. However, it doesn't have to be a boring see-through plaque. It can be something that is commissioned by a local artist through one of our programs and paid for by one of our programs, and then we just have him or her do 5 of them in one go, and then you've got the next 5 years sorted out. So in my mind, you would think about something that represents Ojai, maybe a beautiful oak tree or something, and then you can build that on plaque. So I think you can combine both ideas. Probably not this year now at this late date.
No, not this year.
But for next year, when we're looking at giving out awards, or to me, it seems this is very similar to the paint box project, that you would put out this concept and ask for people to come back to you with their ideas, and we would have funds available from a different source for that type of thing specifically.
Yeah, it'd be
Linda,
a fun contest.
I think your arm's getting tired, Linda.
I just want to say, I think we should be sure of the cost, because I don't think it was 600. I think that's how much was left in the fund. That is not how much those cost. They were just.
No, I know. That's
they're
what's
around
left.
a couple $100.
Yeah. No, that's what's left.
So they weren't.
Well, if you built
So I mean, I'm not even sure how much they were. So I think we should be clear on what we're talking about before. Yeah.
if you want to follow the procedure that we use when we bid out a public art project, you could follow that procedure. And then up front, you put what the amount of money is that would be awarded. And then you ask for proposals. So the artist knows up front, this is what the amount is going to be. Mm-hmm. You could do it that way if you wanted to.
Yeah, it seems to me that's actually really kind of a cool way to do it, because it's inspirational for an artist to have their piece of art dedicated by the city to a specific person every year. So I can see the value in that. This year, I think we should just get the regular plaque.
Right. This year it will be the regular plaque. Linda. Linda, you.
And you also have to, besides the design of it, you're going to have to figure in the manufacturing of it. I mean, I think those are all things we need to think about before we go down that road.
Well, I guess you know, the Nigel, you can get your group together.
I agree that we should do
committee together and work it out and bring it back at some point. No rush right now.
Okay, well, we'll have that sorted by the time we get around to talking about money and projects for next year, which you typically do what, in March? Sometime around there, is that right?
The budgets process begins in March.
Yeah. So yeah, we can have that sorted for then. It's not a big deal. In fact, we can pretty much just follow the rubric from the paint box project and see how that went through. I think that we don't have to reinvent the wheel for this. Right.
All right, we can move along. And next is the grants committee, and I'm chair of that. So what I wanted to do is give you some key dates for the grants, and also to let Luis know that on the city website, the grants, the due date is it indicates it's the 25th of September, but it's really the 30th of September.
Okay, we'll go ahead and make that correct.
Make that change, right?
Okay.
Okay, so what'll happen is once all of the grant applications are in, I go and Christine, whoever wants to help, it's kind of a one-person job, but I'm happy to do it, and that's how I've been doing it. But if I'd welcome extra hands. Anyway, review all the grants applications, make sure they're complete. And then I assign a commissioner to one. Sometimes a commissioner might get two of those applications. And you'll get all of the applications anyway to review. But you in particular will get one or two to really become familiar with, because at the next Arts Commission meeting, you're going to describe the application, what the grant will be for in detail, and kind of act as the translator, I guess, or and also we'd like you to contact the grant applicant and just introduce yourself and say that you are reviewing theirs. You're going to bring it to the full commission. You're not really advocating for them as a grant applicant. You're just kind of an intermediary between the applicant and the commission. And if any questions occurred to you, you might want to relay those questions, but also to tell them and remind them of the Arts Commission meeting where we'd love them to come in, well, come onto Zoom and present their application. So the full commission has an opportunity to question them and vet the application. And that meeting will be on October 22nd. So you really want to encourage them on October 22nd to come before the full commission and present and explain their grant. And so that's the next date. That's
add on to that one, Marcy. Marcy, can I add on to the one when you invite them to come to the Zoom meeting? I think last time we said that we were going to limit the remarks from 2 to 3 minutes tops, because sometimes you've had people go on for 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, obviously we will. We don't know how many.
Yeah.
We don't know how many we're getting this year. Yeah. We don't know.
It should be a general summary, 2 or 3 minutes, because basically we want them there in case a question comes up from
right,
Marcy?
Right. So then the following Arts Commission meeting on November 19th, we meet and we discuss the various grants and we decide how we're going to divide up the money between the various applicants. And we have a pretty good system for getting that resolved. So we're always in agreement. It works out pretty well. Then our recommendations go to the City Council and they will ratify it, hopefully, on December 8th. And then Luis will contact the grantees and let them know if they're in the money or not. And at the end of the year on 12/31, they are each grantee has to supply us with a report as to how their grant panned out for them. That's December 31 of the following year, 2021. So they get the money January of 2021, and they've got 2021 to complete the project and then report to us by December 2021. Now we have a little kink this year because a lot of our grantees, because of COVID, we're supposed to be working on their projects right now. Some of them are able to do a little bit, kind of piecemeal. Maybe it's not exactly the way they envisioned it because it might have involved a gathering of people and all of that, but we've contacted them and we've granted them extensions to just, do the best that they can under the circumstances and get it done and get their review, the reports into us. Now, here's a situation that was raised during the workshop that we did, and that's what if we have someone apply for a grant this year? They received a grant last year, but they're not complete. I mean, they're still kind of working on it and all that. What do we do? I'm thinking that if we like the grant application and it's worthy of being funded, that we give them a date certain to have the report back on the first grant, rather than penalizing them for not meeting the deadlines because of the situation due to COVID. Any thoughts about that? Linda?
Weren't they already given an adjusted date?
They weren't given an exact date.
Hello?
We just questioned them, how they were progressing. I'm going to be checking in with them again to see how far along they are and how they've adapted and everything. And this is, so in terms of that, this is a separate issue. This is what if one of those people applies for another grant this year?
So I'll comment on that. I think that there's no way to know how we would handle it until we actually see the grant, what it is they're proposing, what their data is. So I think we're not going to know that until that November meeting when we're haggling. Yeah.
Right. But it's just an issue to kind of put in there.
Yeah.
So other than that, I gave you the dates. I talked about the issue that might happen. And Luis knows he's going to adjust that due date to September 30th. Linda?
I was just going to say, we'll have an idea at that point anyway, what's, they haven't received the funds yet, correct? Or they did receive the funds?
Oh, they have the money. Yeah.
Oh, they already have the money. Well, if they haven't performed at the end, then we can make a decision as to adjust that or not, I guess, whether they have to pay part of it back if they haven't finished it and they want to start a new one or whatever. But it's going to get awfully messy if we have to keep track of
maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the city wants to ask for the money back. Am I correct, Louise, that just didn't sit right with the city? Oh, James.
Correct. I think we can find alternative options to go ahead and proceed. I think I just don't think that it would sit well to go ahead and ask for the funds back from a nonprofit.
Right.
I'll just add from personal experience. A few years back, we asked one of the nonprofits for the funding back, and I think they posted something on Facebook about the city asking for funding back. So we prefer not to do that if we can at all avoid it. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay, moving along.
Just one thing.
Yes, Nigel.
Did we not have this discussion last time we were sitting at Zoom and decided that we would give them extra time to complete the project?
We did.
Didn't we pick a date? And wasn't the date September 1st of next year?
No, I think we left it up to each, depending on what the project was. I'll talk about the mural on the side of the OUSD preschool building. So we talked to the grant applicant and got assurance that it would get done, but it might not get done in the timeline presented in the grant. And we were giving them all kinds of budge room, or whatever the word is I'm looking for there. We're leaning over backwards so that they can do their grant and not have a situation due to COVID where the city's yelling at them and we wanted to make it copacetic. Wouldn't you say, Marcy?
Yeah.
And
it's on a case by case basis. We just need to get a kind of a picture of where they're at. The issue becomes more pertinent when, like I said, if one of those grant recipients reapplies for a new one.
Okay.
For 2021.
I think we discussed that too, didn't we?
No. This only came out because I got a phone call from a current grant recipient who asked the question. And maybe we did talk about it, but I told them, and then I think I checked in with James or whatever and told them that, they can apply for another grant. And this wouldn't prevent them from getting a new grant.
I don't know whether we came to a conclusion, but I'm reasonably certain we did discuss this. And
we did.
One of the things that was discussed was that somebody couldn't get another grant until the first grant had been completed, but that didn't inhibit them from applying for another grant, as long as the first grant was completed within the additional amount of time that we gave to them, and the other grant would not be distributed up until that point. Am I just dreaming that?
I don't know. We need Smitty in his mind like a steel trap. That's what we
I'm a member of the grant committee, so I'm hoping that maybe what I say can help to clarify. We did not discuss that if they would have to complete their grant before applying for a new one. If someone applies for a new one, we will have to deal with that individually at the time. We'll have to see, what have they applied for? What is their timeline? Will it in any way interfere with the one that is not yet completed? I think it's just so individualistic.
Yeah, it's case by case.
I don't think we can make any kind of.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I think I've had my hand up. I think you have to also, if you're going to do that, your grant has a contract. It's a contract with the artist. And at least my understanding is that's something that I would think the city would want us to hold to, because and if you're handling everything individually, I understand wanting to give some leeway, but that's why I thought we decided to I thought we did discuss it like I just did. And I thought we put it way in the future so that they'd have another year to get it finished. And because you can't, these are guidelines that are meant to apply to everyone. And it's going to get real fuzzy if we start fudging, because what happens the next time when somebody can't? I mean, maybe we're so small of a town we don't have to worry, but I know in the past we've gotten into trouble when we were fuzzy on stuff, and then we got, not that we're going to get sued or anything, but I just feel like it's a contract. Am I wrong? I mean, don't we need to give them a specific date so that they know what they're dealing with?
I don't know. In light of COVID and everything, where everything is so up in the air, I think it would be hard to get them to pin down a specific date or whatever, and let us know if they're going to be able to meet that deadline or whatever.
And James has made it very clear that the city's position is that they are giving a lot of leeway to this because of COVID. This is something that, we've never experienced ever as a reason that something couldn't be done because it's a performance and there's going to be a gathering. So they have to wait until whatever, vaccine, COVID clear, whatever, and then they will do it. So they still, through the contract, they promise that eventually they will do this. But how do you give a date when you don't know what's going to happen with COVID? I don't think you can.
Nigel, how?
My memory recalls the same as Linda. And I believe we had this discussion, and that there were some grants that couldn't be completed because they were school-based projects that were supposed to have been done during the summer of this year, and they couldn't be because of COVID. And the reason that we had discussed, or discussing and deciding are two different things. Well, I don't think we decided, but we had looked at a date of either September 1st or the first day of school of next year for this year's grants to be completed, specifically because some of those projects could not be completed in
right. Now that refreshed my recollection, Nigel. Thank you.
That's what I remember.
I think we looked at those dates, and that was the discussion. There was no decision, but that I'm pretty sure that was a blanket thing. And I believe that we decided that we shouldn't do it individually because there needed to be consistency from the city's point of view, but everybody would be looked upon generously with regard to the amount of time. And if they couldn't complete it in that amount of time, then we would continue to look generously upon them. Linda, is that what you recall?
That is exactly what I recall. And I thought we made a decision, but if we didn't, we can look at the tape. The other thing is we need to resolve this pretty quickly, because what happens for the next round of grants? If somebody said, are we going to say they have to make it COVID aware? We don't know how long this is going to last. So we need to decide what we're going to do, I think, before we even get into the next round of grants, if it involves anything that's prohibited now. How, we don't know. So to me, we need to solve this question first before we do the other. To me, it's to award more grants when you don't really know if we're going to have to look at how we look at them differently if this is what if it's going to be an ongoing condition. So.
Well, I think this is something that we can discuss once we see what kind of applications we get. I don't think you're not suggesting that we not have grants this year, Linda, and we not accept any of the applications?
I'm saying what we need to look at in terms of their grant how it's going to perform under COVID conditions. That's one thing. And the other thing was that I remember that we gave them a firm date that was far enough in the future. And I think, Nigel, you came up with the date, and I was sure that we voted on it. Can we look back at the minutes and find out if we did that, or look at the footage? Is that something we can do right now, or is it impossible?
I can go ahead and try to.
Can we do it for next time?
I'm looking at the minutes right now, and it just says the chair shared an update in reference to the grants and noted the applications would be available in July. So that question is not answered in the minutes. We can check the video and send an update out to the group. But I do think the September 1st extension sounds reasonable. And then I think Luis and I could put a reminder that in July or August, if things aren't looking better by then, which hopefully they are, that we agendize a discussion of whether it needs to be extended further.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to let you all know, because I conducted a workshop for potential grantees and made them all aware that when they're designing and composing their grant application, they need to design it to be able to have the most flexibility to pivot, and that if it involves a venue or a gathering of people or whatever, they might want to rethink that. They might want to have a backup plan, because we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at what kinds of projects would be doable if COVID is still, crazy and we're not allowed to gather and all of that stuff. So we'll see what we get. But I did, Luis, you remember, we did discuss that with them, that they need to be able to have flexibility and have thought everything through in terms of COVID limitations. So Nigel, you've been holding your hand.
Yeah, thanks for that, Marcy. That was exactly what I was going to ask and talk about, is that I know that these applications went out in July, I think I heard, and that they're due back at the end of September 20th.
September 30.
And I don't know if it's too late now to send out an addendum to those grants to the recipients who are potentially, and just ask them to say, hey, you know what, you need to COVID-proof your plan.
Mm-hmm. So, well, when they appear before us in, October? Yes, October 22nd, that'll be something we discuss with them. Yeah. I would think that any thinking, reasonable, rational person would be aware of this, that whatever they do.
There's your problem right there. We don't know who's sending the grants, and if they don't have the guideline to say you need to have a COVID-proof version of this, then what we're doing is we're sitting on our butts in the council chambers discussing.
We did tell them that at the workshop, Nigel. The ones who came to the workshop were given that information.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that everyone that applies. A lot of times people who apply didn't come to the workshop, but we offer a workshop, Marcy, myself, who else was there, and we gave them that information. So that was made available to them. But what I would think is important is that and now I'm talking about this year's grants, not the ones that are coming up, but the ones this year, that if a date is decided, like next year, September, whatever, that an email go out to all the grant recipients that states that, so that everybody gets that in written form. That's just a suggestion.
Linda?
Maybe the thing that we can do too is, once you assign the grants to each person, maybe when we speak with a representative listed, that we can tell them they need to come prepared to answer the questions about COVID.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Some people came to the workshop, but I'm sure some people are going to write them and didn't go to the workshop.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can put it on the website, put an addendum on the website at least? Then people will see that if they're going
like just at the bottom of,
can we do that?
Yeah, that won't be an issue to go ahead and put like a little notation at the bottom there.
Okay, great, perfect.
Or at the top, or even at the top, maybe, so that they make sure they see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Okay, Robin?
Yeah, I would just say, I don't know how you COVID-proof. I mean, you can't. There's so much uncertainty. So, I think the best you could say is, please take into consideration the continuing effects of the pandemic. But, you know, what that is, when as we all know, it's so uncertain that there's just no COVID proofing it, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, I want to move on now, Linda, unless it's something we haven't talked about.
I was just going to say there are guidelines. I was just thinking of the guidelines, what they say we should not do, that they would need to observe the guidelines. So that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe in the note, please review what the city's guidelines are, or the county's guidelines, because the project might not take place in the city of Ojai. So, Luis.
Whichever tougher.
Yeah. Okay. So, Christine, you're up to discuss all these various public art.
Okay. Well, it won't take long. It's pretty short. But I just want to say that I'm pretty sure the projects have to benefit the citizens of Ojai, and they would be taking place in the city of Ojai. Just a reminder.
Well, it's a venue not in the city of Ojai. I mean, there've been times.
That's pretty much a requirement about grants, is that they have to be here. The people that apply don't have to live here, but the grant.
Right.
All right. Anyway.
But there have been situations where the venues have not been in Ojai. When they did the Ojai Youth Opera.
That was at Libby Bowl.
Yeah, but then they also did, they did a performance in Santa Barbara too. But whatever. Okay, Christine.
All right. Public Art Committee. Shell Station, very exciting. The art is up. It is called The Chief. It's a fabulous metal mural artwork by an artist by the name of Bernard Collin. And I did get a peek at it when I went over there. It's covered completely with protective covering, and it was really wonderful to talk to the guys, the crew, the manager, the head of the crew. They were delighted with what they had seen when it went up, and they very carefully wrapped it and covered it because they didn't want it to be damaged as they were continuing construction. And to me, that just said it all. Nobody asked them to cover it or to do that. They just did it on their own. But he uncovered it a little bit and let me take a peek at it. And the next step in this process will be that the CAPA, the Committee to Approve Public Art, will meet once it's unveiled and the gas station is completed, which looks like in the next couple weeks. If you've driven by there, they've really moved that project along. So CAPA will be meeting over there, making sure that they did what they said they were going to do, and then done. So any questions about Shell Station from anybody or comments? Okay, you all know where that Shell Station is, right? Good. Okay, then we have Capri Hotel, which was an approved project. And the committee was asked to go back and to assure that the ladder, one of the devices, one of the boxes that is also a seat, be reinforced in a way that if people sit on it, it wouldn't collapse. And that was done, and they sent us the information on how that was going to be done. So that's all taken care of now, and we're just waiting to find out when the installation will be complete on that. Paint box project is really moving along. I am excited to tell you that we have at least 5 applicants that I'm aware of that have applied for with proposals for the utility boxes that we located. The 3 sites. And Marcy and I will be confirming with the public art jury and the public art jury alternates, because we have enough proposals that we will proceed with the public art jury. They will review all of the proposals and then come and present at our next commission meeting the ones that they are recommending. And then it's up to the 7 of us to give the final okay on whether or not that will happen at that particular site. So that's something to look forward to. Mural ordinance. Well, the mural ordinance went to city council and caused quite a stir and a controversy. And there were a lot of questions from council members about the mural ordinance and what would happen if a building was sold, da, 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 da. So I met with Luis, and a lot of emails back and forth with Luis and James and Marcy. And we have now got the mural ordinance revised to address the concerns of City Council. There's nothing that's substantial from what the commission had originally approved. It's all details, little fine things, clarifications that quite frankly had to be made because the previous staff liaison had kind of gone rogue with some things. So we cleaned that all up, and it will go back to City Council after, I think, Luis, you just sent it to me. Thank you. And I'll be taking a look at that, and Marcy will be taking a look at that. We're the ones with the history on this, so we're going to take a look at that. And then it will go back to City Council, and we'll see what they say. And hopefully they have dropped the idea of banning murals altogether, because it is a difficult, it's difficult, murals. It's really hard to do something like that. Everybody has their own idea about it, but I don't think that the answer is, well, we'll just ban them altogether. So that caused a bit of an outcry, and I'm sure that the word got back to City Council that they should look at the ordinance and not look at banning murals altogether, hopefully. Revised ordinance language, that's on the next page of your agenda. That has already had a second reading by City Council. And I believe, and James, I don't know if you're still there, or Luis, maybe you know the answer to this. I think now the next time they approve it, and then there's like a waiting period before it actually kicks in.
Correct. So it was approved during the September 8th council meeting, and it is there is a 30-day period before it goes into effect.
Okay. All right. And once that 30-day period has passed, then I will be working with Luis, surprise Luis, on revising the developer's handbook, which you as a commission gave permission on a vote that you would let Luis and I do that without having to come back and walk you through every single line of it, that we're just going to make it match the ordinance revisions that you saw and that you approved. So that's that one. And the last one, which I'm just going to mention today, is something for you to perhaps send me an email, give me some feedback on this, or we can discuss it now. But what I'd like to do is to divide up our public art pieces by location into 7 areas, which just happens to work out perfectly for the 40-some pieces of public art that are throughout the city of Ojai. And ask each of you to become a guardian angel for that selection of public artworks. For example, there are a number of pieces in the Arcade Plaza. And if you were the guardian angel for those pieces, once or twice a year, you would commit to walking through and checking out and seeing whether we need to attend to anything. For example, in the Arcade Plaza, the fountain, the Matilaha Poppy Fountain, there are lights that on the surface where the water falls. And those lights haven't worked almost from the first 3 months that it was installed, because nobody ever figured out how they were going to access the lights once they burned out. But it's something, it was part of the artwork, and it's something that we shouldn't like just say, oh, well, and forget. We should probably somewhere down the line attend to it. And Clough-Vista Park is another location where once or twice a year you'd go up there and you'd see, are things in good order with the artwork up there? So I would hope that you'd all agree to that. It really connects you to the public art program to get a little guardian angel pocket of public art. So it's just a proposal at this point, and I just love some feedback, and if you like that idea.
I think it's very important that our public art, is maintains the same thing that I guess we approved and that the artist designed. Whether I think, Christine, your committee, I don't think I'm on it. So I'll kick it to your committee to come up with that way, or maybe there's another way that we can even have professionals look at them, that know about electrical stuff and things like that. You know, the city has, I'm sure the city has resources committed to making sure the city stuff works. You know, they may know better than we know whether something's, you know, performing. I didn't know it was the light. For instance, if I was going to go look at it, I would say, "Oh, it looks great," you know. So.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even know. But that's the whole point, is exactly what you're saying, is that unless we know something is amiss, we can't go to city and say, we need someone to look at this and tell us what the deal is. Mm-hmm. And because there are so many pieces, we have 45 pieces of public artwork within the city limits. For 3 people on the Public Art Commission to do that is really an enormous job. Like, for example, Marcy became the head of an ad hoc committee that looked into just one piece of public art, the Trimpet Arch, and it almost killed her. Right, Marcy? So this would kind of help if all of us took a little pocket of it and I would fill you in on what those pieces should be. I have files on all of those pieces so that you would know what it is you're supposed to be looking for if you agree to do it. And also I want to mention something that dovetails in this, and that is, I was so excited when I gave Luis the link to the public art tours. And when I saw him not that long after, he was so excited. And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "my wife and I watched we took the tours. It's fabulous." So if you're an arts commissioner and you haven't taken those tours, take them, because you will learn all about those public art pieces, every one of them. And I think it's well written. It was researched by an ad hoc committee and put together. The brochures are sitting here at home. A walking tour of public art in Ojai. It's got QR codes in the brochure, and the website was never meant to be a virtual tour. It was meant to accommodate the links in this paper brochure. It was supposed to go out everywhere all over Ojai, and literally the week after these brochures were delivered to my house, the COVID lockdown happened. So they're still sitting at my house, and now we have a virtual tour to replace this for the time being. So please go on Arts Ojai and take that tour, and you will learn about all these. It's fun.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you. Linda's been patiently raising her hand over there. Linda.
It was my understanding each piece of public art has maintenance requirements, and the city has those maintenance requirements. I have a question for James or Louise, whoever wants to answer it. Isn't the city supposed to be inspecting these pieces of artwork according to the guidelines? Or do we not have anybody in charge of doing that?
Is the city supposed to be doing it? Perhaps, but no, there has not been, I think the last time we looked into this, for the last 10 years, there has not been a city inspection, or, you know, a regular city inspection.
Yeah.
So essentially the only inspection, I think in the last 3 years, was when there was a complaint about the condition of one of the public pieces of art. And then we sent an inspector out.
So that's the whole point of my suggestion, is that to ask city to do that with everything else on their plates, to me, that's like the commission's role, is to let city know there's a problem with this one. There's a problem. That's what we do for the city as commissioners, I feel. And as public art chair, I have done that, and Marcy and whoever else has been on the public art committee in the past has done that. But it's just grown and grown and grown, the number of pieces. So I'm just respectfully asking for everyone to take a part in it. And I think you'll find it really fun when you discover what your little pocket is.
Linda?
I have no problem donating some hours to it. I'm just saying, I think it's a function that the city should do. They have a maintenance department. They inspect the roads, they inspect the signals. And if we are going to commit to being an artistic community, actually have a public art ordinance, I think I really think there should be time to have one person inspect those properties, which I don't know how long it will take, but at least once a year, just to make sure that the handbook is followed. Because how can they follow the handbook if they don't even know, if they're never there? I mean, that's why we required the handbook, that the maintenance plan be written for each piece so that we could maintain them. I just think it's I'm usually on the side of the city with everything, as you well know, but I think this is a commitment the city needs to make. So.
Robin?
Is there a fund to do the maintenance? Is there money set aside for that?
No. No, there's not.
Well, so yeah, it's going to be.
And so to respond to Commissioner Harmon's, because when this was set up, yes, it should have been set up with a staff person to inspect it. The 30-second version I'll give for our current, because I don't want to get off on a tangent with our current budget challenges, is that we had brought a budget to the city council in March or February, right before coronavirus hit, where we were adding for the first time some additional public works maintenance crew members, because I looked around and said we don't have enough maintenance people to do everything that we need to do, and I think we have the whole public works department is 11 people, and I think the maintenance people are 6 of them. So that's what maintains our city. So I had added 2 to our budget, and then when the coronavirus hit, first I'll go. Measure C passed March 6th, which was great, but we still haven't gotten a dime from that, and. So when coronavirus hit, we revamped the budget and cut $2 million, and those 2 positions got cut. So, I guess the short answer is we don't have any additional resources right now, but I think long term that's a goal, and hopefully if we can recover quickly, that'll be a goal. But this year, it's not going to happen for us.
Well, maybe this could be a stopgap measure.
Yeah.
If we find anything glaring that needs to be addressed until. Yeah, well, we're in a better situation financially in the city.
James, can you tell us off the top of your head, is this a permissible expenditure from the Public Art Fund? Is maintenance of a?
I think it is. I think that
we have funds.
Yeah, as you know, so the Public Art Fund by code has like 5 or 6 dedicated uses, and I believe maintenance of the art is a dedicated use. So the Arts Commission can decide to dedicate funds for the public art.
Which is why I think I would like to continue what has been the past practice, which is for the Public Art Committee to advise the city when they see something going on, which really a city staff person can go and look at a piece of art and not know that. They don't have that art eye. They would have gone to look at the Trimpen Arch and never have known it's supposed to be doing this and this and this, but we knew because we have extensive records on it. So I'll put it this way. If any of you would like to become a guardian angel for a section of these so that you can do this a couple times a year, please let me know, and I will assign you some really exciting pieces of art that will you'll become great lovers of those pieces. I think you'll enjoy the task. Just let me know if you want to do it.
We can all see that the wheel, is it, or what is it, at the skate park is faded.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's a good example. Thank you, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So get right on that, James.
Yeah.
I'm up for that, Christine.
But see, we would do the follow-up work on that. Once I know that, now that Robin has reported that, my next step would be to contact the artist and find out what are the paints, and talk to Ted Gall about that piece. And then once I've done all that, then go to the city, go to Luis in this case, and say, Luis, here's what I found out. And then Public Works Luis gets that all going. So it's just it's a series of steps because we're working in the government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. All right. A lot to think about. The next thing is we're going to, if anyone has any ideas, anything they want to bring on a future agenda that we don't have time to talk about today, that wasn't on the agenda, but you would like to talk about it in the future.
I just had a bit of other business. I emailed Louise. I personally don't need the whole packet delivered to my house. And I think if the rest of us could agree not to have staff time spent driving around, dropping it off, or printing it for that matter,
Yeah, and we can definitely refrain from that if that's something that you'd like to go ahead and move forward with.
We'll need to have a printed pack, Luis, because of my eyes. I can't do on the online. So thank you very much but I'm happy to come and get it. You don't have to deliver it.
Okay.
I'm generally against government people snooping around the house in dark.
And I take notes.
Generally against working out of class.
I take notes all over it. And also, you should know before you are so happy about that sometimes because of public art private development reports, you will be spending a lot of money on ink and extra large paper to print out what's in that packet that you need to perhaps have a hard copy of.
Which you're about to see right now. Linda, do you have a quick comment?
I just wanted to say we went to paperless once before, which I normally like, but I agree it's nice to have the physical thing. And this time it was a little different because we had 2 repeats, but I wouldn't mind picking it up. If you want to print them out and leave them in the front office for us to pick up, that's fine.
Okay.
Because I would like to save the staff.
Yeah, one of the things I'm happy to go ahead and do is touch base with each one of you, get your preference, and we could definitely go ahead and move forward in that manner.
Good plan. Nigel?
Okay.
May I suggest that unless you hear directly from a commissioner, Luis, that you don't prepare anything, that if you want a packet, ask him for one, then go get it. Can we not disagree to that? I don't need packets.
Sure.
That's the plan. Okay.
I would like packets.
Luis, you're going to do the staff liaison report now.
Yes, so we'll go ahead and move to public arts project. So as far as the public arts project or project subject to public art, there are 2 projects that would seem to qualify for this. They are currently pending approval by the PC Commission. And those 2 projects, the first would be RTK Studio over on Kenyatta Street, and the second would be Hakani Sushi on East Ojai Avenue. Again, the valuation is still pending, but if that is the case, we'll definitely have more information. And then the second thing is moving over to the Public Art Fund. So the Public Art Fund, there has been a change to the Public Art Fund, and that is a credit. The cannabis manufacturing facility has paid their waiver of $6,397. And so the total credit is the total balance, is $103,000, a little over $103,000.
Luis, is there any way that we can find out what the deal is with the olive mill? That's been outstanding since 2018, the money they owe us.
Sure. Yeah, I could definitely go ahead and look into that there.
It says no permits pulled. So is that just an automatic thing? If the permit isn't pulled, then they don't give us the money until it's pulled?
Yeah, I think
that's the question.
That's one that I've met with them a couple of times, the developers, and they are having some delays on their end. I think we met with them maybe 3 months ago, and they were having delays on their end. I guess I shouldn't, get too into the details, but so they have not pulled building permits yet, and that's what triggers the payment.
Okay. All right.
And then, the last thing I wanted to go ahead and share was on behalf of Commissioner Zauringer, she wanted to share a warm welcome to Commissioner West.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Luis?
Wanted to share on behalf of Sammy, she wanted to share a warm welcome with Commissioner.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. She phoned it in.
That's my last.
What was her excuse for not being here?
She's stuck in traffic.
All right, and then the last thing that we have on our agenda is, I reversed the order, commissioner comments. Does anyone have anything that they want to add? I'll just echo what Sammy said and welcome Smitty. Welcome aboard. Hope you haven't changed your mind yet.
No. Is there somebody, who's the best person to explain the sort of the art fund? I'm not familiar with the terminology.
Me.
There she is.
Who is that? Christine?
That would be me.
The elevator version, Christine.
Well,
Oh, I don't think he wants me to do it. Not now, right?
Yeah, I'll contact you.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I'm happy to orient anybody. If there are other people who would like an orientation on the public art ordinance, I'm happy to host that on my very large patio. So Scott, you'd be fabulous. People who are new, if you want an orientation, because you have to vote on it all the time, and you really should know about the ins and outs of it. And it's complicated. It isn't as simple as you think. There's private development, there's public development, there's projects that we choose, there's the public art fund. It's something to learn.
Yeah.
Nigel. Oh, sorry.
Look forward to learning it.
Okay, we'll get together. And anybody else who's new that wants to get in on that, just we'll let you know, and then you can join. As long as we can only have 3 of us.
Nigel.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, we're going to knock this Lifetime Achievement Award off next time, no matter what happens. So,
Great, thank you. Linda, comment?
Just want to thank everybody for hanging in. I know it's been a really rough couple of months, so thank you, everybody. City, big thumbs up to the city for all you've been doing, because you've done a really incredible job.
James and
Really.
Louise, amazing.
Thank you.
And Robin, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, with that, you guys, I'm going to adjourn the meeting with the stapler.